afternoon. You're through to Rick in the casework team. How may I help?
Oh, hi, Rick. I've got a bit of an unusual situation on my hands. We're about to have a baby. But the
Okay.
problem is that I feel that I couldn't possibly myself be a part of a society that is involved in wars, involved in taking all those minerals from Africa, involved in the exploitation of children and young people in factories in China. And the list goes on and on. I couldn't possibly say that I'm part of that society. I don't feel part of it, and
Okay.
I wouldn't want to hand over my child to being part of that society either. And therefore, basically it's my intention not to register our child. I don't think it's the right thing to do for the child or for myself. And I'm just thought I'd call up the registry office and wonder what the reaction is from people who work there. Is that okay?
Yes, it's fine that you've called. You're certainly welcome to ask any questions you've got.
Yeah. So, I mean, is it okay that I'm not going to be registering my child? Is that a problem?
Well, it is an obligation of a primary informant to register a child's birth.
A primary what? Sorry.
It is what? Sorry.
Sorry, a primary what?
A primary informant. That would be like the
Informant?
mother or the father.
Oh, isn't that a funny word? Informant. Do you know what I mean? Because an informant is usually that hands someone over to the authorities.
No, an informant would just be somebody who is providing information.
Oh, okay, got it.
About the birth.
Right. So when you say I'm obliged to, I mean, and what if I don't? Because that's to me it's kind of meaningless to say I'm obliged to do anything. I mean, because to me I don't feel it's the right thing to do. So what happens if I don't?
Well, if you don't, then there would be. In practice, what's going to happen? Nothing. There'll just be no record of your child's birth made, which may prevent him or cause difficulties for him, shall we say, when he comes to obtain a passport or anything like that in the future.
Right.
It wouldn't. In practice, it isn't something that people tend to get prosecuted for. It's not like the olden days when there were prosecutions made when people failed to register the children's birth.
Right.
So really, in practice, what will happen? Very little, other than it might just cause a few difficulties for your child when it comes to registering for things like nursery and things.
Right. Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't send my children to any state-sponsored educations because I don't trust. I don't really trust the state in that way. Do you have any problems at all trusting the government, or that's not personally?
I suppose it's a personal issue for everyone. I mean,
right. Do you personally have any problems trusting the David Cameron or George Osborne? Do you find them? You can trust them? Do you think you can trust them?
I was certainly happy to register my children's birth.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, great. Thank you very much. Just
All
one
right.
last thing. If I'm not mistaken, that although I might have difficulty when it comes to nursery, it also means if I don't register my birth, it means that social services don't have any rights to meddle in my affairs. Is that correct?
That isn't something I would really advise on, but I would imagine. I think social services would intervene. I don't think they would intervene if they thought a child hadn't been registered, but I think they would intervene if they thought a child was being mistreated.
No, I understand that,
Yeah,
but I understand that, but I'm saying that if the child wasn't registered, then they wouldn't. As I understand it, that means that they have no authority and no ownership, because registration is an interesting word. And again, I'm not saying I understand fully about it, but I've been looking into it, and it seems that registration is in a way seems to be like a form of handing over ownership.
Yeah. It must admit, it's not the first time that we've had sort of an inquiry like this. And to be honest, it isn't a case of registering your child. It's simply a case of registering the birth as an event that's taken place. It's simply that, a record of the birth. It's not a record of the child. And even when a birth certificate is issued, it does say on it that it's not a an identity document.
Right.
You know, it's simply a record of a birth that has taken place, and that's all it's really intended to be.
Right. Right.
It does provide help when you know, children and.
Well, I don't understand if that's
it's just simply a record of a birth that's taken
but
place.
if that's simply what it is, then why would it be a problem later on when you wanted to get a passport?
Because at the passport office would really want to be sure that the child was born in this country, and that can provide evidence that the child has been born in this country to the parents.
Right, but then surely that then it means that it is more than just a record of the birth.
Well, obviously, if you're applying for a passport, you would need to prove that you were born in this country.
Right. Right. Okay.
Or that, you know, your parents were British citizens or whatever. You know, that's something you probably have to take up with the passport office. When you do come to apply for a passport for your child, they will obviously want proof that your child was born on that particular date to those particular parents. And it may be that you can satisfy their requirements without a birth certificate. It would be easier if you had one.
Got
but
it.
I'm not saying you would be unable to satisfy those requirements without one.
Right. Yeah, good point. Okay, lovely. Thank you. You've been really helpful.
All right, well, if you've got any further queries, just give us a ring back.
Great, thanks. Bye.
All right, thanks. Bye.